Welcome back to Hopeful Horizon, where we share stories that uplift, inspire, and sometimes leave you in awe. Today's tale is one of kindness, resilience, and life-changing twists. Maya Thompson, a hardworking black waitress at an upscale diner, faces constant mistreatment from her prejudiced boss. But everything changes one quiet night when a late-night guest walks through the doors. What unfolds next is a powerful journey filled with unexpected turns, sweet revenge, and a heartwarming message about justice and triumph. If you love stories filled with inspiring moments and poetic justice, make sure to hit the subscribe button, tap the bell, and stay tuned. Don't forget to drop a comment and let us know where you're listening from. We'd love to hear from you. Maya wiped down the last booth at the Silver Spoon Diner, exhaustion settling deep into her bones. The bright neon lights buzzed overhead, casting a flickering glow on the chrome tabletops. It was past midnight, and the usually bustling diner had emptied out except for a lone man nursing a cup of coffee near the window. He was a regular, quiet, polite, and always tipped well. Tonight, though, even he had left early, leaving Maya alone with the hum of the refrigerator and the distant honk of city traffic. "Double shifts are going to kill me," Maya muttered under her breath, tossing the damp rag onto the counter. Her thick curls were frizzed from the long hours, and the soles of her sneakers ached from standing all day. But she couldn't afford to complain, not with rent due next week and her younger brother Jordan's school supplies still needing to be bought. Greg, the owner of the Silver Spoon, emerged from his office, a scowl etched permanently onto his face. He was a stout man with a beer belly that strained against his grease-stained polo shirt. His beady eyes scanned the diner like a prison warden inspecting his yard. "Maya," he barked, "you better not be slacking. Customers pay for clean tables, not your lazy attitude." Maya clenched her jaw, but forced a polite smile. "Yes, Greg, just finishing up." "Lucky to have a job," he muttered, waddling back to his office. "Could replace you in a heartbeat." The words stung, but Maya had grown used to Greg's insults. She needed this job too badly to let his bigotry push her out. Just as she was about to lock the front door, it swung open with a jingle of the bell. A tall figure in a hoodie and sunglasses stepped inside. Maya's heart skipped a beat. The diner was technically closed, and Greg's rules were clear. No exceptions. But something about the man's presence made her pause. "Sorry, we're closed," she began, but the words caught in her throat as the man pulled down his hood. It was Snoop Dogg. Maya blinked, trying to process what she was seeing. The legendary rapper stood right in front of her, cool as ever, with a laid-back smile on his face. "Yo, my bad," Snoop said smoothly. "Didn't mean to barge in. Just needed a spot to chill for a minute." Maya quickly regained her composure. It's fine. The kitchen's closed, but I can make you something simple if you're hungry." Snoop's smile widened. "You always this nice, even when folks don't deserve it?" Maya chuckled nervously. "Occupational hazard, I guess." She led him to a booth near the counter and hurried to the kitchen. The grill had already been cleaned, but she managed to whip up a grilled cheese sandwich and a fresh pot of coffee. As she served the plate, Snoop nodded appreciatively. "You didn't have to do all this," he said, taking a bite. "But I'm glad you did. Best sandwich I've had all week." Maya laughed. "Glad to hear it. So, what brings you to this part of town?" Snoop shrugged. "Needed a break from all the noise, you feel me? Sometimes you gotta step away to see things clear." He paused, studying her. "What about you? You always holding it down here solo?" Maya hesitated. "Pretty much. Gotta pay the bills somehow." "Respect," Snoop said, raising his coffee cup in a mock toast. "Hustle's real out here." They chatted for a while longer, the conversation flowing easily. Despite his fame, Snoop was down to earth, genuinely interested in hearing about Maya's life. She found herself opening up about Jordan, her dreams of going back to school, and the struggles of working under Greg's constant scrutiny. "Sounds like you got a lot on your plate," Snoop said thoughtfully. "But you handling it like a boss." Maya smiled, feeling a warmth she hadn't experienced in a long time. "Thanks. That means a lot." As he finished his meal, Snoop pulled out a $100 bill and slid it across the table. "For the best sandwich in the city," he said with a wink. Maya's eyes widened. I can't take that. You can and you will, Snoop insisted. Keep doing your thing, Maya. The world needs more folks like you. With that, he pulled up his hood and sauntered out of the diner, leaving Maya standing there, stunned and grateful. As she locked up for the night, Maya couldn't shake the feeling that something had shifted. For the first time in a long while, hope flickered in her chest. The next morning, the diner was back to its usual chaotic self. The smell of frying bacon and brewing coffee filled the air as regulars crowded into booths, chatting loudly over their plates. Maya moved through the diner with practiced efficiency, refilling cups and taking orders with a smile. Greg was in rare form, barking orders at the kitchen staff and snapping at Maya every chance he got. She ignored him, focusing instead on her work. The memory of last night's encounter with Snoop Dogg lingered in her mind like a secret treasure. By mid-morning, Greg called Maya into his office. The cramped room smelled of stale coffee and cigarette smoke. Papers were scattered across the desk, and a framed Employee of the Month plaque from years ago hung crookedly on the wall. Sit, Greg ordered, not bothering to look up from his paperwork. Maya sat cautiously, her stomach knotting with unease. Greg finally looked up, his expression smug. You know why you're here? Maya shook her head. No, but I'm sure you'll tell me. His lips curled into a sneer. Don't get smart with me. I told you, no exceptions after closing. And what did you do? Serve some punk in a hoodie like this as a charity. Maya's heart sank. It wasn't just anyone. I don't care if it was the President of the United States, Greg interrupted. Rules are rules. You broke them, and now you're done. Maya stared at him in disbelief. You're firing me? For being kind to a customer? Greg leaned back in his chair, clearly enjoying her shock. You think some rapper's worth breaking the rules for? Get out of here. You're lucky I don't dock your pay. Anger bubbled up inside Maya, but she forced herself to stay calm. I've worked here for 3 years, Greg. Never missed a shift, never complained. And this is how you treat me? Don't let the door hit you on the way out, he said smugly. Fighting back tears, Maya stood up. You know what? I feel sorry for you, Greg. Must be miserable living with that much hate in your heart. His face turned red with fury, but Maya didn't wait for a response. She walked out of the office with her head held high. The diner felt different as she returned to the floor. The clatter of dishes and chatter of customers faded into the background as Maya grabbed her belongings from behind the counter. A few regulars watched curiously, sensing that something was wrong. As she stepped outside into the crisp morning air, Maya took a deep breath. The weight of uncertainty pressed heavily on her chest. How would she support Jordan now? What would she do next? But beneath the fear, a spark of determination ignited. Greg might have taken her job, but he hadn't taken her dignity. Maya squared her shoulders and started walking, each step filled with resolve. This wasn't the end. It was just the beginning. That evening, Maya sat on her worn-out couch, sipping a cup of chamomile tea. The events of the day at Silver Spoon Diner weighed heavily on her mind. She was still reeling from Greg's demeaning words and the sting of public humiliation. The quiet hum of the city filtered through her open window, offering little solace. Her phone buzzed on the coffee table, interrupting her thoughts. Frowning at the unknown number flashing on the screen, she hesitated before answering. Hello? She said cautiously. Yo, it's Snoop, a familiar voice said casually on the other end. Maya's brow furrowed. Snoop? As in Snoop? She let out a disbelieving laugh. This a prank? Nah, it's me, girl. We talked at the diner, remember? You had that fire playlist going. He chuckled. Man, you don't forget someone who knows good music like that. Maya's mouth dropped open. It really was him. She remembered their conversation vividly, a moment of light in her otherwise mundane workday. Wait, how did you get my number? Let's just say I got connections, Snoop said cryptically. Heard about what went down with your boss. That ain't right. Thought I'd hit you up. Maya leaned forward, disbelief mingling with curiosity. Why? 'Cause real recognizes real, he said smoothly. You treated me with respect when you didn't have to. I don't forget stuff like that. There was a brief pause before he continued. Look, I'm in town for a bit. Come meet me at the Grand Lux Lounge tonight. We need to talk. Maya hesitated. Was this really happening? But something about his sincerity pushed her forward. All right, she agreed. That evening, Maya entered the swanky hotel lounge, nerves buzzing. The place was upscale, filled with well-dressed patrons sipping cocktails under dim golden lights. She spotted Snoop sitting in a private booth, dressed in his signature laid-back style, but commanding the room's attention. He stood as she approached, flashing a welcoming smile. There she is. Maya, right? Yeah, she said, still a little stunned. I can't believe this. They sat down, and Snoop wasted no time getting to the point. I got a proposition for you, he said, leaning forward. I need someone I can trust on my team, a personal assistant, someone who can handle business, keep things organized, and vibe with me. Maya blinked, taken aback. Me? Why? 'Cause you got heart, he said simply. I can see that, and you don't take crap from nobody. That's the kind of energy I need around me. She opened her mouth to respond, but was silenced when he slid a piece of paper across the table. Her eyes widened at the salary figure written there. It was more money than she'd ever imagined making. What do you say? He asked, watching her carefully. Maya swallowed hard, emotions swirling inside her. Greg's mocking words echoed in her mind. You're lucky to have a job here. Well, maybe luck had nothing to do with it. She lifted her chin and smiled. I'm in. Weeks passed, and Maya thrived in her new role as Snoop's personal assistant. Her days were filled with organizing high-profile events, managing schedules, and traveling the world. She met celebrities, attended exclusive parties, and finally felt valued for her hard work and dedication. But it wasn't just the glitz and glamour that fulfilled her. It was the respect. Snoop treated her like family, always acknowledging her contributions and making sure she knew her worth. One afternoon, during a business meeting in Los Angeles, Snoop leaned back in his chair, a mischievous grin spreading across his face. Got some news for you, Maya, he said. We just closed a deal on a new business venture. Oh, yeah? What is it? She asked, intrigued. Bought that diner you used to work at, he said casually. Maya's jaw dropped. The Silver Spoon? Yup, figured it needed some new management, he said with a wink. A thrill of poetic justice surged through Maya. You serious? Dead serious. And guess who's going to oversee operations? She laughed in disbelief. No way. Way, he confirmed. You ready to show him how it's done? The following week, Maya walked into the Silver Spoon diner with her head held high. The familiar smell of coffee and grease filled the air, but this time, everything felt different. She wasn't the underappreciated waitress anymore. She was in charge. Greg stood behind the counter, his face paling when he saw her. What are you doing here? He demanded. Maya smiled sweetly. Just checking on my new investment. Greg's brow furrowed in confusion. What are you talking about? Didn't you hear? She said, feigning surprise. Snoop bought the place, and I'm his right-hand executive. So, technically, that makes me your boss. Greg's mouth opened and closed like a fish out of water. You've got to be kidding me. Nope, Maya said cheerfully. And guess what? You're fired. His face turned beet red. You can't do that. Actually, I can, she said firmly. Consider this your last day. As Greg stormed out, muttering under his breath, Maya felt a sense of closure wash over her. She turned to the remaining staff, who watched the scene unfold with wide eyes. Things are going to be different around here, she announced. We're building a place where everyone feels welcome and respected. You in? The staff nodded eagerly, a newfound energy filling the room. Later that evening, as Maya locked up the diner, she took a moment to reflect. Life had a funny way of turning things around. One act of kindness had changed everything, leading her to a future she never imagined. She smiled to herself. Sometimes fate had a way of setting things right. Thank you for being a part of this incredible journey of resilience, justice, and unexpected opportunities. Maya's story reminds us that a single act of kindness can ripple into life-changing moments, proving that doing what's right always pays off in the end. If this story inspired you, don't forget to leave a comment and share your thoughts. Let us know where you're listening from too. We love hearing from our audience. Make sure to hit the subscribe button and tap the bell so you never miss another story filled with hope, courage, and triumph. Stay strong, stay inspired, and we'll see you next time on Hopeful Horizon.